the prenatal test, I was reading a story about that's going to test for all of these genetic markers,
Right.
and it'll be able to tell you what's your predisposition to a certain cancer, and it's going to test like over 2,000 different things in this test. So can you imagine what that's going to do when you look at the state-run healthcare?
And who has the right to have that information? That's the big question.
Have it.
Right.
So if you listen to what Obama and the Democrats are saying, is they want to put all this information into government computers to keep track of all of this.
Right.
And that's why GE's behind this, because they're going to build the technology to do this.
Oh, sure.
So the state's going to know, like the state already knows, Gunnar Hawkins lives this street in West Virginia. He has cystic fibrosis. So if they want to round everybody up with a certain disease, they already know where you're at.
Right. Wow. And you know, when you say these things, Kristen, people think, oh, wait a minute, you're nuts. They're not going to start rounding people up. Let me tell you, right now, we could sit here and make a list of 10 things that are going on in this country right now that everybody knows are going on, abortion and all the other things that are associated with life issues. You could take that list back 50 years ago and tell people this is what's going to happen 50 years from now in the United States, and they'd lock you up because they think you were.
Think it was coming.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
It's a very scary slope, and the fact is they're already rationing care now. We can't say this is going to lead the rationing. This is just going to be government mandated rationing. There's already rationing now. I had a dinner with a woman last week. Her son has trisomy 18, which is a more severe form, basically, of Down syndrome. And she was told, did not have the prenatal testing. They told her, well, you know, after he was born, they were trying to save Peter, couldn't find out what was wrong with Peter. 2 days later, the test came back positive. And they said, well, you know, now you should just let him die. And she had 6 different doctors come into her hospital bed telling her why she just should let Peter die. And she said, but you wanted him to live 2 days ago. You got his surgery. But now once you found that he has trisomy 18, you don't want to save him anymore.
Right.
Well,
And you're like, well, no, he's a burden to society.
But think about this. We're just talking about here how people say, well, these things could never happen. But we're doing things right now that people would have 50 years ago said would never happen. You know what the best example of that? That we allow babies to be born in hospitals, and if the mother didn't want them, we take them, like Jill Stanek found, take them over here at Christ Hospital. You put them in a closet and let them gurgle for a few hours until they die. Not only are we allowing that, and people know that it's going on, but the President of the United States, when he was a senator, defended that.
Yeah, it's not infanticide. It's just abortion with
Ex
a more
utero.
developed fetus. You know,
They call
outside of the
it
fetus.
abortion ex utero. And when you had the debates in Congress over the partial birth abortion ban, and I think Chris Smith introduced the question about, well, what if you're doing this partial birth abortion and you partially pull the baby out, he's 90% out of the womb, and you're fixing to punch the scissors in the back of his head to kill him, what if he just kind of slips out and now he's alive outside the womb? Do we have an obligation to do anything to save that baby? And you have the Barbara Boxers of this world, well, she was one of them, who said no, and basically what she was saying, they can deny this all they want to, but this is a fact. What they were saying is that when a woman goes into an abortion, to have an abortion, she has a constitutional right to a dead baby.
Right. Yep.
That is literally what they were saying. Well, again, if you go back 50 years and you told the American people there will be this debate in Congress over a baby being pulled 90% out of the womb and a doctor pushing scissors into the back of his head and sucking his brains out to kill him, and a United States senator is sitting there defending this practice and saying that even if the baby comes out alive, the doctor has an obligation to kill it because the woman is entitled to a dead baby. If you'd gone back and told people that, they'd have locked you up. So I don't want to hear this nonsense about, oh, health care, we're alarmist over this national health care.
We're fear mongers.
Yeah, you put moral degenerates like what we have in the United States Congress and the United States Senate and in what we have in the administration in this country, you put them in charge of literally of your life and your history.
And people don't believe it.
Right,
They
I know.
do not believe. I asked Gunner's doctors, and they said, that would never happen. This is America. That's preposterous that would happen. And I said, it's already happening in Europe.
If they do believe it, they don't. You know, what can I do about it?
Yeah.
You know, who cares? It's not my deal.
We
I'm
really
busy.
can't really do anything about healthcare right now because we just have to see what happens and see what comes out of Congress. I was like, no, we need to stop this right now.
We've already seen what happens. All we have to do is look over, across the pond, see what they're doing over there.
Right.
We have the best healthcare system in the world right now. Now, it may be expensive. I think the insurance companies have, to a large degree, a big responsibility there. But you know what? I can still go in and get the health care that I want.
Exactly.
And if we start messing with that and we start giving Big Brother Obama, charge of our healthcare system, it's going to go radically wrong.
We're
And if you
done.
look at the talking points, they're saying we have the worst healthcare system. You know, he's talking about how bad our healthcare system is. I said
This
we
is
have the
newspeak.
longest
People-
we have the longest survival rates for people with cancer. How do we have a horrible healthcare system? Why do people from Canada and Great Britain come here to get help?
And why don't they see what a disaster the Canada system is? People die waiting to get a broken leg fixed.
My concern is where in the world are the senior citizens groups?
Because they're the ones most
Anybody-
impacted.
Yes.
They're the ones already, AARP is already sold out.
Because
Maybe it'll save them money if we
the
euthanize
Obama
old folks.
administration has gone and made strategic alliances with all of these organizations already. All the pharmaceutical companies, the medical companies that opposed Hillary Care in the 90s are now aboard the Obama plan. They learned from their mistakes, and now they're on board. So what's going to happen, insurance companies, these are going to become government contractors. So now they're not worried. They're going to be able to stay in business and
Right.
probably make more money. AARP, American Medical Association, they're just political machines.
I read yesterday that the medical industry is spending $1.4 million a day to push this national health care program. Something's wrong. They're not representing you and me. They're representing their back
They have
pocket.
some financial interest, right? Right.
And what is frightening when you're talking about alliances, Kristen, there's an unholy alliance going on. Obama has this council of pastors, you know, and everything.
So-called.
And these guys are keeping their mouths shut at the most crucial moment when they should be speaking out on behalf of people.
Thank you.
And bringing this thing in it. And I am convinced they have gone into alliance too, and it's an unholy alliance.
Yep. We could sit here, we could do 10 shows on this particular issue. And I just hope the American people are bright enough, and I don't have a lot of confidence in that sometimes, but I hope they're bright enough to see through what's happening here and just understand what's going on. Because it's a frightening time that we live in.
Well, let's just continue down the slippery slope here. London is doing a deal where you can do designer babies, no male required. They have invented a way from embryonic stem cells, killing a child already, and making sperm out of it. Now, my first thought when I saw this is people have too much time on their hands if they're trying to invent sperm.
I was going to ask, is there a worldwide shortage of sperm or that I'm not aware of?
That's what I was thinking. And then they're talking about like lesbian couples. They can get some DNA from one chick and an egg from the other, and poof, they can have a baby that comes from both of them.
And what's going to be the health issues with these babies?
Exactly. Well, the Deliverance theme song kept going through my mind because it all got incestuous, you know, as I was looking at it. But the point was, children are increasingly viewed as things to be made instead of what God says, that they're gifts and heritage, and that God makes them. But I think it's man-haters behind it because they can do it without a man involved.
Feminists.
Right.
You know, did anybody ever see the movie Gattaca?
Yeah.
You know, because
yes.
it's a
perfect.
fantastic movie. They've designed these perfect human beings to go into space and to do scientific research. But the one person that kept passing all the tests was the natural baby, the one that was born outside Big Brother's control. Now, he had eye problems, but he really was the most brilliant. I think if we go down this line and continue to hyper-design individuals like these guys, you're going to end up not with what God wants, but this abomination of a human race. Little cookie-cutter people of low intelligence, everybody thinking alike. That's not what this country was founded upon. This country was founded upon true diversity of human thought, resources, ideas, philosophies, religions.
But that's England. That's happening in England. So
Yeah, no.
They don't care about what we're founded on.
Right.
Then we're good news, bad news. This is still in the bad news part. Remember our buddy at Princeton, Peter Singer, class guy. He is talking about eliminating the disabled and asking them. It was so much drivel. I thought I can't even concentrate on this. It was, you know, if you could live 4 years not disabled or 6 years disabled, which and give back and forth, back and forth. And all I could think of is. Well, my mother's now disabled, and she fights every day to try to get up and walk. She's determined to stand up and walk. And I thought, these people that he asks, you know, they're all like, yeah, let's eliminate the disabled. I think, what happens if they become disabled? They have a car wreck, paralyzed here down. Do they go, okay, put me out, it's my duty? I don't know. I think even Peter Singer might be fighting for life.
But let's make sure people understand who this guy is.
Yeah.
He's a head of bioethics professor at Princeton University.
Right.
And he has written, he started out saying that parents should have, under the abortion license, if they can abort a baby in the womb, they should have a certain length of time. He started out saying 28 days after birth to decide whether they want this baby or not. And if not, they can have it euthanized. Now, I've heard rumors that he's up to a year or 2 years, that parents ought to have the right to make this decision about about their baby. This is the kind of mindset that we have here.
You know, it's really an oxymoron for a naturalist, a Darwinian, to say that there's a standard for ethics. Without Christianity, without the Ten Commandments, there's no standard for ethics. So, of course, you're going to go down this line. And my only statement to Peter Singer is, why don't you take some of your own medicine?
He's actually debated a disabled woman before, and in the course of debate, admitted that she should not be allowed to live. So, I mean, he's not afraid.
This is where we're headed. And this guy is head of bioethics at Princeton University.
Why does he have a job? Any of us that would say stuff like this, they would.
Well,
They'd
the next
take us
step
down
is
here to
working for
Terrell.
Obama.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he probably is working for Obama.
Stumping on health care for him.
Kevorkian?
Yeah.
He was busy helping people die, then all of a sudden he got in jail, and while he was in jail, he started pleading, "Don't get sick, please let me out." And, you know,
Yeah.
he didn't volunteer.
Where was
He
his
didn't.
fault? But good news, there are some good things happening, and one is that someone, and you know, when I'm reading it, I go, why didn't we think of this? Why didn't you think of this? It's brilliant that somebody in South America and Brazil has invented a little thing where, like, if you went to have an ultrasound and say you're 20 weeks, he puts in your hand a 20-week size that he's made. It's kind of lifelike.
It's a model of your baby.
A model of the gestation of your baby, and then they see the reality instead of just seeing that little fuzzy sonogram.
It takes the pictures.
Yeah,
Let me
it's
tell
really
you something.
cool.
Yeah,
It's a
not
molding?
it's not a generic baby.
Right.
They take an image of your baby, and he makes a model from